Joining us from the Green Bay Packers. He doesn't do many of these shows, so I'm always appreciative when the left tackle of the Green Bay Packers for so many years joins us on the Rich Eisen Show. David Bakhtiari is back here. How are you, David?
Good. I just finished up today. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing
good
it.
To hear from you.
When you say finished up today, what's finishing up today? You're done with your...
just practice for the day.
Okay. Your organized team activity? Is that what you're saying?
The 100% voluntary, organized team activities, yes.
Understood. So how organized is the team activity, David? Very organized, I might
that's why it's so organized. That's why they put it in the title.
So it's redundant, is what you're saying, when they put it in the title like that. You're just assuming the team activity is organized. Okay, fantastic. All right, I'm just going to jump right into it. What's with the word rebuilding and why you're having such a crazy time with it? Let's just jump.
It's funny. I think it's more other people have a hard time with hearing that word, and I guess it's more triggering for everyone else. But at this point, I think it's kind of like I'm just having a ball. Like everyone wants to take it any which way, and I'm kind of here for it. If everyone wants to have chaos ensue, like great. Nothing anyone's going to say to me hasn't already been said over my long tenure of playing left tackle. So it's just been kind of funny at this point.
Well, I mean, because when folks say, let's just say in management, use the word rebuilding, well, they kind of rarely do, because it does imply that there's no shot. Like you're rebuilding. It's not like okay, we feel we can win the Super Bowl. Rebuilding kind of undercuts that. So what's your definition of a rebuild as you have described this year's Green Bay Packers is potentially undergoing right now?
Well, I think you take the word rebuild and break it down and see what you're doing. You're redoing a build.
Okay.
For the longest time, ever since I've been here, there's been one pinnacle person at the quarterback position, and then now there's been a bunch of change. And also, when you look at the way money has been, how we pushed out money from previous years to go after keeping the core together. Now there's a bunch of cap hits of guys that aren't here. And then couple that, you have a very young team. Now, where people get uncomfortable is like, not all rebuilds are bad. And to me, I sit here and I'm like, I'm not going to ignore the past, but I'm also not going to discredit the future. Like, we are changing. And to me, this is a rebuild. I use the analogy of they rebuilt from Favre to Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it would be disrespectful to be like, oh, Aaron's gone. You're not rebuilding off a Hall of Fame quarterback. And that's what they did with Brett. And rebuilds can come in all different shapes and sizes. It's a spectrum of it. Now, I am not Nostradamus. I can't tell you exactly how this season's going to play out because right now we're undefeated, just like 31 other teams.
That's right.
Now, the beauty of it is we have the season to play out, and then we can see where we fall.
Well,
we're all professionals, and our goal is to win. I'm not going out there to lose. Like that's asinine.
Well, and I also know how you feel about Aaron. Everyone knows that as well. And that's the kind of way I also took your comments is that, you're not denigrating your current team and opportunity. You're kind of paying respects to 12, right, by saying we're rebuilding with another quarterback here. Am I saying, like, if you don't call it a rebuild, you're potentially denigrating Rodgers and his standing and his legacy? Is that one way to take it, too?
I do think that there's definitely weight in that, absolutely. This is the first ballot Hall of Famer, arguably, and to me, one of the best pure quarterbacks the game has ever seen play the game. And that, for me, when I look at it, when you change off of someone like that, like we have a bunch of new pieces. We're so young. And with that becomes new advantages and disadvantages. And like I said, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see what's going to happen in the season. Let the season play out, and then we kind of see where we are. And I use the analogy of, look at Seattle. Seattle rebuilt off of Russell. And look at them. Their rebuild was a playoff team. So when everyone freaks out on saying, like, oh, we're going to be throwing the season, like, yeah, rebuilds go all across the board. There's constant change and flux when you have a lot of weight on one certain guy, a pillar guy, for a franchise.
No, and I was in Texas Stadium on an NFL Network Saturday night, Romo versus Favre, in 2007 when if I'm not mistaken, you were in Junipero Serra High School, or am I saying
Junipero
it?
Serra, yep.
Okay.
The same high school Tom Brady went to.
Okay, there you go.
That you had on earlier.
My first hour guest. Well, look at us coming full circle here. When I say us, I mean us in the studio, but you're part
Just
of
like
that right
Green
now.
Room, Green Bay.
That's it. You heard it. I'm just turning phrases. But, you were in high school. I'm standing there in the end zone, and Favre goes down, and I'm thinking that's the end of this game. And then Aaron Rodgers came off the bench, and I was standing there in the end zone with Mariucci, Marshall Faulk. I believe Sterling Sharp was part of the NFL Network broadcast that night. We're all looking at each other and go, holy crap. Like, this guy can really not just play football, but excel at it and be special. So I'll ask you, what are you seeing out of Jordan Love? And he's clearly got a lot of, a high bar to clear. But what are you seeing out of this kid that might make everyone think, all right, this is a possibility to just keep on churning forward, David?
I think the biggest thing is the control, and demeanor in the huddle from being back here from the beginning of the organized team activities.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to go in and out of the different checks, not stumbling over the words of all the vernacular of our play calls, and to really manipulate and go at a more of a advanced level of playing the game at quarterback. Because I think there's a rudimentary level where it's like, I get the play, I have only one check, and that is what I do. And there's also the game within the game that we talk about and preach, and the longer you play, you kind of can pick that up. Seeing him, really having the full reins of the team and having that control, that's been the one big thing I've seen. And the other thing is just finally, when you are, not that he never was himself, but he was the backup for Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of know your role and own your role. Now that he is, the starting quarterback, seeing him kind of showing everyone himself and being cool and confident in himself is the other awesome thing that I've seen, and I can't wait. But at the end, we're also talking, this is, the first stage.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's only so much you can see. I've seen guys look like they're going to be all worlds in OTAs, and then they absolutely stink it up once the pads come on, and when football really matters. So I'm taking everything like a grain of salt. I've realized that you can't really judge right now what guys are in, shorts, helmets, and their minds are swimming, just trying to pick up and knock off the rust from the offseason.
What about the concept as well that Jordan is more of a peer of these young receivers than Rodgers, because they're close in age and maybe close in interests off the field and things of that nature, and that alone might work chemistry-wise this year?
I don't think it's that much weight into it, other than exactly what you said. Like, that is a fact, and that is an advantage, but I don't think it's like this huge headline thing that needs to be making waves. I mean, at the end of the day, Jordan is younger. He has grown up in an era more along the lines of most guys that are in the locker room now, so he has a better way to assimilate. But I don't think it's something that's like make or break. Like, wow, what a crazy thing! Oh, Aaron's an old man. He's he's 48 years old.
Well, I saw him rocking.
I always make fun of him for his age.
David, I saw him rocking out to Taylor Swift the other night. I mean,
he's trying to be hip. He's trying to keep his ear to the street.
He's a Swiftie. Did you know that? I didn't know that about him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a big Swiftie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, back-to-back nights, too. I think he went back. Like one night's not enough for him.
That seems a little desperate. Going once, I understand.
Desperate. Now, that's an interesting adjective to use. Interesting. Or he's flexing that, hey, his new spot, they give him great tickets at MetLife. He already knows the ticket people at MetLife. We know that. He's already well-versed on that part of the
He's my guy. I can't let him have it always easy. I always got to bust his chops.
I know. Are you the OG of the locker room now, David Bakhtiari?
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm an old man. I mean, I'm the guy who's trying to keep his ear to the streets now. I am the second oldest by age, but the longest tenured. So Pat O'Donnell, our punter, he is technically older than me, but I've been in the league longer than him.
So what is your opinion of that, or your thoughts on a role? We always talk about roles in the media. Is this something you relish, or you dispense wisdom, or what? Like, how do you view this, David?
One, I think it's awesome. I mean, it's a kind of a cool little badge of honor to have. It kind of speaks to my career. The other part is, I mean, of course, it comes with wisdom. I help out where I want to help out, but I'm over here just trying to have fun. I've always tried to have too much energy, upbeat, always having fun, busting anyone's chops, but always being willing to have anyone bust my chops. That's always kind of been my demeanor. So I'm having a good time, honestly, with these young guys. It's always kind of fun and funny to mess with them, and especially the young rookies coming in, because they're just trying to just understand the day-to-day operation, what it means to be a pro, and having this be your job, and seeing them sometimes stare through me, not at me, because their minds are just swimming as this. I always kind of enjoy that, because when you keep doing this so long, I'm sure like in your profession, everything slows down. Everything's really easy for you. But in the beginning, I bet it was you were more on edge, making sure you were hitting your marks where you need to be, saying the right sponsors when you're supposed to, not trying to fumble over words. So I use that analogy and how things have been going now.
Right, but you're also teaching him how to be a Packer, I'd imagine, since Rodgers, it appears, took everybody else on the offensive side of the ball, David, out of there. You know?
Yeah, apparently he has a posse. He's got an entourage, and apparently I'm not it. Just like when there was like an inner circle would know, and I remember saying, well, I didn't hear anything about this.
Well, how about this, David? I'll view this as you're too valuable to be allowed to leave Green Bay. How does
Rich, you just know what to say. You know what to say.
That's the truth, though, David. You're too damn valuable to be going somewhere else in their estimation. That's what I'm.
I appreciate it, and that's It doesn't matter to me. Like I've been here since 2013. We've have a great relationship. From my point of view, for myself and the organization, I have a good time. I don't really let things eat me up. I take every day at face value for what it is, and I enjoy the moment, because I know at some point, the moment's gonna be gone or changed or altered. And I was just talking to Goody yesterday. Like it's fun. Like I'm making the most of it. I said this is voluntary. I don't exactly want to be here, because we've worked it out in my deal where I have to for my bonus, but I'm not gonna come in and just salt it up. I'm here anyways. I might as well have a good time.
I like it.
Make the most out of it.
Well, or maybe, hold on a minute. Maybe you're still in Green Bay because you have good reception at your house, and Gutekunst doesn't have to FaceTime you to talk to you,
It's
David.
weird because Goody always FaceTimes me, so I don't know. Like I guess him and Aaron don't have a FaceTime relationship.
I guess not. I don't
there's
know.
a lot of times I'll pick up, and usually my FaceTimes are usually when I'm in the bathroom. So and Goody gets it, so he gets it.
Well, you got a prettier face. Maybe maybe it's that. Maybe it could be that.
Yeah.
How come, David, you don't have a podcast yet? How come you're not bussing or doing or new heightsing or just like everybody else?
Bussin', I have heard how long is it going to take for you to get on there? I see you'd rather go on Part of My Take. I understand that they're like the bigger dogs, but that really just is a crushing blow to Will and Taylor.
Listen, as I took, I don't know if you saw, I took Will for a walk the other day on Twitter.
I did actually. I'm a big fan of the walk.
I had to take him for a walk because he thought it was a troll move going on the podcast that was in New York while I was at the Sports Emmys, which is not a flex. But
humble brag.
It's or facts, and and I've got 3 kids, 14, 12, 9, 2 dogs, a wife. I'm moving. I've got 2 jobs. Getting to Nashville, and honestly, and I told Taylor this when he said he's getting his pod and it's on a bus. I'm like, oh great, so you're going to come to Los Angeles? I'll go on. And he says, no, there's no motor on the bus, and I made a stand. Years ago, David. Ironically, when I was in Nashville for the draft, last time I was in Nashville, I said you got to have a motor for me to come on, and I'm trying. I'm trying to get things done properly, David. That's what
I respect that. You're a man of integrity.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll take that. And then to answer your question, why don't I have a podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of have fun, kind of jumping on. Fitting in where I fit in. It hasn't, it's been pretty saturated. There's already awesome people in the area, and
right.
Honestly, probably a little too lazy to want to set it up myself. Someone wants to build it. I'll see what I can do. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
Okay.
If the Rich Eisen Show, always partners. We talked about this earlier. I'm not open to it.
Okay.
I'm just also real with my other ventures and endeavors I am doing, I'm like, I don't want to put in all that work.
Okay, David. I'm picking up a little bit what you're putting down, but look for more of my contact to you about what you might want to do in front of a microphone. And if we do put you on a bus, there's going to be a motor on it. And you're going to take it all over the country and meet people. That's the way I'm going to view it. But I love Taylor and I love Will. It's nothing against them. That's my opinion on that front.
Yeah, the only request I have is instead of a bus, Nick, if you can just do a private jet, and I'll just do my podcast on a private jet and fly all over. That seems a little more feasible and a little more entertaining. The bus thing might, that seems a little cramped, a little sweaty. I've been in that bus a few times.
Understood. I would say tell me about it, but I haven't, as you know, famously been on the bus. PJing with the boys doesn't sound like a bad idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
That'd be great. And it's a write-off. Look at us, Rich.
It's a write-off.
This isn't a podcast. We are brainstorming right now.
We are. This whole conversation has been a write-off. David, thanks for the call, man. Like I said, I know you don't do a lot of these, so I appreciate you doing this show, as always. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I'll talk to you again. Thanks
right back at you. We'll FaceTime next time. Let's do that next time.
Yeah, of course. You got my number.
David Bakhtiari here on the Rich Eisen Show from the Green Bay Packers. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.